Picture this. In March 1960, a remote highland village in Borneo got rained on, not with water, but with cats. Yes, on the 17th of March 1960, it rained only cats, 23 cats to be precise. The Royal Air Force, RAF, had parachuted 23 live cats, packed in crates, into the jungle hamlet of Borneo, Sarawak, Malaysia. The headline writers had a field day. It rained cats in the Borneo district of the Kelabit Highlands in Sarawak, reported the Singapore Free Press. This absurd Operation Cat Drop grab bag of history sounds like April Fool's, but it really happened. Why drop cats from the sky? It all began with a serious fight against malaria. In the 1950s, public health teams sprayed DDT inside thatched houses across Borneo to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes. This spraying worked, mosquito populations crashed, but it also had wild side effects. Insects and pests we didn't aim at started to vanish. For example, parasitic wasps that kept roof-eating caterpillars in check were wiped out, so thatched roofs began collapsing on people's heads. Then came the cats. By one account, DDT set off an ecological chain reaction. Poisoned insects were eaten by gecko lizards, which were then eaten by cats. The result? The cats themselves started falling ill and dying. With fewer feline predators around, rats exploded in number and began devouring villagers' rice. According to the story, these rats even carried deadly diseases, sylvatic plague and typhus, and threatened local people's lives. The fix? As the tale goes, to cope with these problems, the World Health Organization had to parachute live cats into Borneo. The bottom line is this: a vicious rat plague threatened Sarawak's crops, and officials needed more cats as natural pest control. So, who actually made Operation Cat Drop happen? Despite rumors of a HU cavalry of cats, the mission was a British RAF operation. In March 1960, the UK's Royal Air Force flew in from Singapore with a cargo of crated cats and supplies. The target, Borneo, a tiny hamlet high in Sarawak's Kelabit Highlands, about 4,500 feet up, with no road access. Kuching, Sarawak's capital, aptly nicknamed Cat City in Malay, had scrounged up about 23 local cats for the mission. Those cats were packed expertly into wicker baskets and parachuted into the paddy, rice fields. On the 17th of March 1960, an RAF Beverly transport aircraft climbed to roughly 400 feet over Borneo. After a few test runs to mark the drop zone, the pilot opened the crates. The cats, and 7,000 pounds of other equipment, fluttered down by parachute into the jungle. Hundreds of excited Kelabits on the ground watched the big operation, which took more than an hour, reported the Straits Times. One Sarawak aviation officer later congratulated the RAF on a magnificent job. By all accounts, the cats landed bang in the middle of the zone. Operation Cat Drop was a success. Even the locals were thrilled. A month later, the Kelabit leader wired Kuching, "Thanks for the cats. No more trouble with rats and mice." In short, the quick aerial rescue of felines did what it set out to do. Rats suddenly had new predators, and rice fields were spared. Meanwhile, the cats themselves, well, they probably weren't overly pleased with flying lessons. Before we jump ahead to the next weird fix, let's clear the air about what really happened versus what legend says. Myth: 14,000 cats were airdropped into Borneo. Fact: contemporary news stories and RAF logs say only 23 cats were parachuted. The sensational 14,000 cats figure comes from much later retellings and is entirely apocryphal. No one in 1960 reported anything like that number. The official drop involved a couple dozen cats, not a feline army. Myth: it was a WHO mission to stop plague. Fact: it was a British-initiated effort with help from the RAF, who later ban on DDT is linked to stories of ecological chaos, but the cat drop itself was organized at the local level by Sarawak's anti-malaria team and the British. Some authors later characterized it as a WHO project, which muddied the waters. Myth: cats fell out of helicopters with harnesses. Fact: the cats rode in wooden crates with parachutes, not fancy harnesses. Newspapers describe them in parachute-borne containers, but there's no cartoon image of cats wearing diapers here, just animal crates. In short, Operation Cat Drop was a small-scale, pragmatic solution to a real problem. But over the decades, it has been wildly exaggerated. Parachuting felines. This wasn't the first time RAF tried airborne cats. Back in 1954, test drops of cats from aircraft were reported. In fact, 2 cats dropped from 350 feet seemed quite jolly about the whole thing, and when the parachute box opened, they jumped out, licked their paws, and walked away. So apparently, some cats are unperturbed by skydiving. Not just cats. If you think parachuting cats is odd, you haven't heard of other critter drop missions. In recent years, scientists have dropped beavers with parachutes to rebuild wetlands, and even thousands of tiny trout have been dropped into lakes from planes. No parachute. By now, the picture is clear. A well-meaning anti-rat project led to an unforgettable photo op of parachuted kitties. The real Operation Cat Drop of 1960 was small but successful. Just 23 parachuting cats sent in to restore the balance. If you enjoyed this cat-tastic tale, or if you're just feline nostalgic, don't forget to subscribe to Chronicle Crafter for more offbeat historical stories. What other bizarre solutions have you heard of? Let us know in the comments. And one more thing. If humans really dropped cats from airplanes in the 1960s, what's the next crazy solution we'll try in the future? Jetpacks for pigeons? Robot squirrels? The sky's the limit, literally.